AEW has added major free agents already this year. Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada, and next week, big business with Mercedes Mone, a.k.a. Sasha Banks, debuting with the company. But Mercedes might have already pissed off AEW and its fan base prior to her debut with one little thing that she said about the Fed. And we will go over that right here today on Off the Script. I got major updates on Kazuchika Okada and his AEW debut, what was planned, how long it was planned, and how much money Okada is making to relocate to the United States. And The Rock, how much input did The Rock really have on who got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, WrestleMania weekend? All this, plus so much more, right here on Off the Script. We will start with The Rock, who was on Friday Night SmackDown last night, along with Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns. The tag team match is set for night one. The two biggest main events, maybe ever, in WrestleMania history, taking place on night one and night two. That tag team match is going down with all four of those gentlemen. But The Rock, did he have input on the 2024 Hall of Fame class? Well, The Rock is back in a big way, not just with what we see on television, but he's back in a role as a TKO board member with a lot on his plate as far as decision-making. The Rock is wrestling at WrestleMania, has a seat on the board of TKO, and has gained all the IPs of Rock-related terminology and names. However, we're going to be seeing his influence on WrestleMania weekend well beyond his scheduled tag team match with Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Coming from Fightful Select, sources within WWE have told Fightful that The Rock has had input on this year's WWE Hall of Fame inductees. One indicated to us that would be evident if the planned inductees are revealed as scheduled. We weren't given any additional info as to what that means. Another source said The Rock had input on all of this year's inductees, though we've not confirmed that to be the case. In an update as of last night after SmackDown, Fightful says that they learned that The Rock's grandmother, Leah Maivia, is among the names being considered. WWE claims that The Rock does not have input on the WWE Hall of Fame. The Rock is all over television and has input, or had input, from the very word go to the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Do you genuinely believe that The Rock isn't poking his nose in other aspects of WWE as well, on top of what he's doing on television? Fightful may be reporting that WWE claims, but that's WWE claiming. We don't know if that's true or not. WWE is going to get the information out to places like Fightful that they want out in the wrestling bubble. If they don't want something out, then they will tell the appropriate dirt sheets and the publications what they want to be said. But if you genuinely believe The Rock does not have any extra input on anything and he's only doing this tag team match at WrestleMania, you're a fucking idiot, and you're probably the same people that thought Vince McMahon wasn't in charge when everybody was saying, hey guys, Vince is there, watch the show, and you denied it up and down. You are the same people. Again, if The Rock has input on anything, fantastic. But The Rock should know his role. His role is a TKO board member. His role is basically taking Vince McMahon's spot, which is another conspiracy theory in itself. Whatever happens on WWE television, leave it to the team that has been assembled by Triple H. Now, I don't know, and I don't really give a shit who is assembling the Hall of Fame. I don't care. As long as it's done right, as long as the names that have been hidden and put away and not given the opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame when Vince McMahon's there or when Vince McMahon was there, as long as those names are dusted off and are brought to the forefront, I don't care. Couple off the top of my head, let's get Psycho Sid in the Hall of Fame. Let's get Jim Johnston in the Hall of Fame. Seriously. Bray Wyatt, he's going in, whether it's this year or next year. I don't know. Names like that. Seriously, Demolition, get those guys in there. Those names have been hidden for far too long. So the Hall of Fame class right now is looking like this. Paul Heyman, who did not want to be in the Hall of Fame until he retired, but being that it's in Philadelphia and that Triple H's Hall of Fame is the first one at WrestleMania 40, he feels like it's the right time to do so, even though he is still and will be an active on-air performer. Bull Nakano and the U.S. Express tandem of Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda, which is great for the Rotunda family, knowing what they went through, and could be a signal that Bray may be going in as well. All of these names have been announced, with more still to be announced in the weeks to come. We got 4 weeks. Ceremony will be on April 5th, 2024. But I do believe Rock has an input on everything. Rock is there. He's there full-time as a TKO board member. He is going to be giving his opinion on what should be done and what shouldn't be done in all aspects of WWE. The Rock may be the guy that runs WWE one day. We don't know, but I think this is the building blocks to getting Rock to that point eventually. Moving on. Let's talk about Mercedes Mone. Mercedes addresses her WWE departure just a week before she debuts with AEW on March 13th. Dynamite, entitled Big Business, from Boston, Massachusetts. Mercedes, formerly Sasha Banks, and Trinity Fatu, formerly known as Naomi, who's now back with the WWE, walked out of WWE in May of 2022 due to creative differences. The night they walked out, they were advertised for a six-pack challenge for the evening's main event, with the winner getting the next Raw Women's title shot, despite them being the tag team champions at the time. That served to be a big issue, because you just made them the tag team champions, and then one of them was going to go on to do their own thing. What happens to the other? What happens to the tag team championships? So basically, John Laurinaitis, Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, and all of that administration lied to these women and didn't want to give a single fuck about the women's tag team titles and their reign as champions. Months later, they were granted their release, surprisingly, with Mone going to New Japan Pro Wrestling and Fatu going to TNA Wrestling. Fatu ended up winning the TNA Knockouts Championship, and she returned Naomi to the company in January by returning in the Royal Rumble. While Mone has had talks with WWE about returning, those talks fell through, and money was the big decision not to join WWE. Obviously, Tony Khan gave Mercedes whatever she wanted and whatever leeway she wanted in the company, and she's debuting next week on Dynamite. Now, while appearing on the Kick Rocks Wrestling podcast, Mone spoke about the walkout. An early edition of the podcast was released on Apple before being disabled. She said this, and I quote, "Something inside of me told me I needed to do this and stand up for myself. It was a very hard decision because wrestling in WWE has been my whole life. If people don't know, it's been my whole life. It's the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my whole life, but it's the most proudest. It's crazy because I would not be sitting here living the best version of my life in getting to be everything I ever dreamt of. I get to be everything I dreamt of and more. And it makes me so excited because that moment changed my whole life for the better. I'm so thankful for that moment, so proud of myself. I'm proud of Trinity. I'm so proud of just how strong we were. Because like you said, everybody wanted to talk about it. Everybody wanted to act like they were in the room. I just know that everybody acted like they were in the room or worked there or were backstage or knew what happened or knew what was said. But all I know is that I handled it like a CEO, like the boss that I am, with my head held up high, and I can't say nothing but amazing things to WWE. I'm so thankful for my career, the career that they gave me, the fans they gave me, the life that they gave me, the dreams that they gave me. So many dreams, and I've got to chase and live them all. I get to do so much more, And like I said, I have a lot of unfinished business in wrestling. I know I will be back there one day. On her injury, I've been working so hard to get back to this place that I love because little do people know, I was told this was a career-ending injury. I screamed at my doctor and surgeon and said, no, it's not. I'm going to come back really soon, and I'm going to have the greatest time and the greatest matches and the greatest career that I've ever had. She tells the Kick Rocks podcast that she knows whatever she is doing now, it all leads back to WWE. She will be back in the WWE. And the host of this show, which I saw the clip on social media when she did say this, he was ecstatic about that because Sasha Banks is Sasha Banks. Everybody loves Sasha Banks. We all know what Mercedes is capable of. And I'm glad that she's doing what she wants to do. But something like that, saying something like that, is going to land Mercedes in hot water with the fan base upon entering AEW before she even steps foot in the ring. Fans are already upset about this. I don't understand why fans are upset about this. I think everybody with a functioning brain realizes that Mercedes is not going to end her career in AEW. I'm telling you right now, enjoy the woman while you have her. I hope she could stay healthy. Enjoy the woman while you have her. You have her for at least 3 years. At least 3 years. The woman is 31 years old. She's not even in the prime of her wrestling career yet. She will be back in the WWE. That is not even a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. And shouldn't be news or new information to any of you. If Sasha Banks, Mercedes, is in AEW, the things that she could do in 3 years could absolutely transcend the AEW women's division forever. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of spending time in the locker room. That's a lot of knowledge being dropped in that locker room. That's a lot of matches. A lot of great stories to tell. A lot of time to really make history. That's a lot of time to start another revolution. 3 years. That's a lot of time. I think she's going to get to do everything she wanted as the leader of that locker room that she didn't get to do in WWE. Why? Because she's the fucking best at what she does. You may or may not agree with that. I don't give a shit. You go and find me another female that has been that influential in everything that she's done in pro wrestling. Admired about everything she's done in pro wrestling. Respected from everybody in what she's done in professional wrestling. I love it. If that triggers you, then that's a you problem. Enjoy her while you have her because you only get one Mercedes. And when she's done with AEW, all you should really be hoping for is that the lasting impression she leaves remains many, 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 many years after she's gone. I don't know why anybody would have a problem with this. She's going to go back to WWE. She's going to main event WrestleMania again. She's going to retire in WWE. She's going to go back to the place that gave her the platform to be who she is today, which is very important. They all end up going back. Bret Hart went back. Hulk Hogan went back. CM Punk went back. If you don't think Sasha Banks is going back, you're a fool. It's absolutely happening. Enjoy her while you have her here because she's going to make a huge, huge impact. Now, what she said would probably land anybody else in hot water. What she said landed Bobby Fish on the unemployment line. Remember when he said, I'd go to war for Triple H over anybody? That killed his entire AEW run. It's not going to kill Mercedes that she said this. Tony Khan is lucky that he has somebody like Mercedes even available for him to go after and throw money at. The fact that he has her coming in is a blessing in itself. He knows that division is a problem. He knows that Sasha Banks Mercedes Mone is going to come on in and hopefully fix all of those problems as long as there's a fucking leadership in that division that has a vision. Mercedes knows where she came from. She knows exactly who she is. She knows where she came from. She knows who gave her her start. But she opted to leave anyway. If you don't respect that, then again, that's a you problem. She went out there knowing it would be the easy decision to stay with WWE, but she sat on her morals, and she had the self-respect for herself to say, you know what, I'm worth so much more than that. I'm going to go and do what I want to do and get paid what I think I deserve. And she's going to the competition. She's going to AEW. And whether you watch or not, I don't really give a shit. She's doing what she wants to do. She's going to do movies. She's going to do music. She's going to wrestle for New Japan. She's going to wrestle everybody and anybody that she wants because WWE would not allow her to do half of the things that Tony Khan and AEW are going to allow her to do. And when she's done, and when she makes a mark in her way in other areas of pro wrestling that she would not be allowed to, then she'll go back. And then she'll be Sasha Banks. And then the boss returns home. Nobody should have a problem with this. I respect that decision to leave more than anything because it's easy to stay, to take a chance, to know what you're worth, and to go out there scared and venture in uncharted waters like that. You think it's easy? This woman knows what she's doing. This woman has all the confidence in the world. She knows how great she is. She knows what she's capable of. And the fact that she's going to do that and apply it to AEW, that deserves everybody's respect, man. Speaking of free agents, Kazuchika Okada. Details on Okada signing with AEW. Okada officially joined AEW on the March 7th episode of AEW Dynamite after leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling recently. Fightful Select has learned additional details on the signing, which we're told wasn't actually signed until fairly recently. Okada is expected to be full-time with AEW and is planning to relocate to the United States. Fightful aren't told if this was his ideal or recommended by AEW, but he's expected to work a complete schedule. A Tokyo Sports article claimed that the deal was for 3 years and roughly $4.5 million per year. Fightful can confirm the deal is multi-year, but are still verifying the terms. In addition, the decision to introduce Okada as a heel with the Elite and for Kenny Omega to be kicked out in absence was something that was in the works for quite some time. WWE claims there were no talks between the two sides, though Fightful can confirm with WWE sources that Okada had reached out to WWE talent while weighing his next move and had considered the possibility of joining WWE. At one point, we'd even heard he'd showed renewed interest in possibly going back in January. Fightful Select had reported that Okada was joining AEW and was expected in the fold by the episode on March 7th. We're told that as of things stand, there is no timetable on Kenny Omega's potential return. The angle was to debut Okada, add him to the Elite, and set the stage in the event of Omega's return down the line, which will probably, and I discussed this on Wednesday, which will probably lead to a match between Okada and Omega at All In at Wembley Stadium. I want to be upfront and honest with everybody here. I am pleased that AEW is making such a huge play for free agents. I want to preface this by saying, if you love professional wrestling and don't appreciate AEW, then that's your fucking problem. And I look at you as a mental, half-witted idiot because these guys would not be making this type of money anywhere if AEW didn't exist. Okada has broken his body for years being the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. $4.5 million for what he's put his body through over the last 7-8 years. 10 years is worth more than $4.5 million per year. But the reason why Okada is making $4.5 million a year, and I question what he's paying Will Ospreay, I question what he's paying Chris Jericho, I question what everybody else is making there. I question if he even offered Cody Rhodes this type of money to stay with AEW. I question what the Elite are making. I question what Punk was making when he was there. We all know Tony Khan has endless resources. We all know Tony Khan, for a lack of better word here, or words here, Tony Khan has a lot of fuck money. He does. The guy could throw money around like nobody else. And clearly he has, because he's assembled probably the greatest wrestling roster in the history of pro wrestling. But the reason why Okada is making $4.5 million a year, which is none of your business and none of my business, the reason why he's making $4.5 million a year is because Tony Khan is going to throw money around, not only because he has it, because he wants to create such a huge separation so that they don't even think about going to WWE. Do you know what it would have done to Tony Khan's ego if Okada, New Japan's face, went to WWE and he didn't land in AEW, who's working directly with New Japan, who he loves Japanese pro wrestling, Tony Khan? Do you know what that would have done to his ego and his mentality? It would have fucking eaten him up from within, from inside. He was never going to allow that to happen. He created such a separation between AEW and WWE in the negotiation tactics that he gave this man $4.5 million a year, and WWE would look at that and say, fuck out of here, man. We're just going to go and create our stars inside the Performance Center, whether it be fucking 5 to 10 years, man. We'll make our own Okada. Get the fuck out of here. Seriously. They were not going to use him full-time. He was not going to be used on television. They were not going to pay him $4.5 million a year. He's not a known commodity in North America. WWE was never going to pay that money. Tony Khan paid him all that money to keep him away from WWE. Let's be real. But at the end of the day, who gives a shit? We're going to get banger matches out of it, right? We're going to get hopefully good television out of it on AEW on Wednesdays, right? Who cares? I enjoyed the debut. I enjoyed the fact that they took a chance on him being heel. I like what the Young Bucks are doing. I loved that segment. There was a lot that happened in that segment. Maybe you're not watching the fucking show, but Okada, yes, he's not a known commodity in North America. Sure, he's not going to be a game changer here in North America. I don't give a shit as long as I'm enjoying television and I get to talk about it and not complain about it. But what that segment did was bring in somebody who is a lot known to that audience. They changed up the game. Instead of bringing him in as a babyface, they brought him in as a heel. They already got his first feud started with Eddie Kingston, which probably will lead to a Continental Championship match at Dynasty, their next pay-per-view on April 21st. He will probably win that championship, and then he could defend it anywhere, in any promotion, if he desires. He's a heel with the Young Bucks, who will speak English on his behalf. He will look good and get the heel heat that he needs as a heel through them because they're doing great work. And it planted the seeds with them firing Kenny Omega and suspending Adam Page for when they come back, which will eventually set up Okada versus Omega at All In. And they've already planted the seeds months in advance for that. If you don't think that was an effective segment, then you're clearly not watching the fucking program. I thought it was great. Is he worth $4.5 million a year? It's none of your fucking business what Tony Khan does with his money. Who gives a shit? Are we going to get great television out of it? We already started on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to it. And finally, guys, Kevin Kelly, gone from AEW. Fans noticed on Thursday that Kevin Kelly is no longer listed on the AEW roster page, leading to fans speculating that he could be on his way out of the promotion. And that's the case. Something happened on social media, and I want to read some tweets back and forth here from fan to Kevin Kelly on social media. Fan tweets at Kevin Kelly, I've always appreciated the lengths that you go to give a history and a background of the match. Why are these two fighting? Meaning him and another AEW employee. I feel sometimes that is lost by some of your brethren. You literally got me into New Japan Pro Wrestling because you took the time to set up matches for someone who was new. Kevin Kelly replies, I do the same thing in AEW because it's critical to explain the why. I wish AEW themselves understood that. But the idea of what I bring to the table is lost there because Ian libeled me. So I sit on the bench, valued by my peers, waiting to get my number called. I keep asking why, but get pushed aside. It's okay because there is no one better than me. Ask the ones that know and they'll tell you. End quote. Kelly started his run with AEW last June as the lead play-by-play announcer when the promotion's Collision program began on TNT alongside Nigel McGuinness before Tony Schiavone joined the booth as the lead play-by-play man, which is a problem in itself. He was not on call for Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view, nor Thursday's Collision taping, which will air tonight, Saturday. Last weekend, he noted that he had been libeled by Ian Riccaboni, believed to perhaps be Ian Riccaboni, he mentioned by Ian, and pushed aside when asked by someone on Twitter regarding not being utilized more. Wade Keller, PW Torch, reports that Kelly has been released by the promotion. Per the report, his social media posts cost him his job because he accused Riccaboni of sabotaging his career. Tony Khan does not fire anybody. Tony Khan does not fire anybody. Let me repeat that. So whatever he had done, it must have stemmed from much more than what happened on social media. Or maybe it was something in regards to something that I didn't mention here. He was talking about sex trafficking and the movie Sound of Freedom, and he was arguing with people about that. That might have landed him more in hot water than the issue with Ian Riccaboni. Who knows? It's none of my business to insinuate or speculate. He's gone. Was he good at his job? Sure he was. Did he fit the bill completely on Saturday night? No, he didn't. And I'll tell you right now, neither does Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone is awful as a play-by-play. He's awful. I can't stand listening to him. He is good in doses. He's like JR. We don't need him all show. This is not WCW circa 1996. I don't want to hear Tony Schiavone on a fucking Saturday night show for 2 hours. Get somebody in there that's got a better voice for the overall product. You know who that is? The guy that Kevin Kelly didn't want there, Ian Riccaboni. He should be the voice of Saturday Night Collision. Now, he can't do it because he's got a family life that he attends to on Saturday night. He's got kids that he wants to spend time with, and he loves the Ring of Honor schedule where he could tape shows and be home with his family and get work done on his own time. But Ian Riccaboni is the guy. Ian Riccaboni should be on Dynamite. To be honest with you, we should shift Excalibur over to fucking Saturday night because I can't stand listening to him either. AEW's got an announcer problem. Kevin Kelly did a fine job. Did he fit the American style of pro wrestling? Some people did not grasp what he brought to the table. Some people did not get used to what he brought to the table. Did he fit New Japan? Yes, he did. He was very good at his job. Kevin Kelly is not a bad announcer. Kevin Kelly is a great announcer. But don't get me wrong. They got a problem overall on Saturday and on Wednesday. The only norm that I see there that I enjoy every week is Taz. That's it. I think Taz is fantastic. And Nigel. How can you hate Nigel? They need to fix the commentary issue on all of their shows. It's easy to sit here and say, hey, man, replace this guy, replace that guy. But it's been a problem for a long time. Tony Schiavone is not the answer. I feel bad for Kevin Kelly that they did him dirty. He feels they did him dirty. Ian Riccaboni and Kevin Kelly arguing about this. I don't know if Kevin Kelly's going to land a job elsewhere. I'm sure he will. He's too good not to. But to be fired from AEW because of something you said online, you got to do something really, really, really bad that crosses the line because Tony Khan doesn't fire anybody. So I wonder if there's more to this situation than we really are privy to at this moment. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Anyway, guys, thank you so very much for today's episode. If you did enjoy today's episode, please hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Please hit that thumbs up. Strive for 1,000 likes on today's video. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications and go check out all the other content. Plenty of live streams to get caught up on. We were live Monday. We were live Tuesday for TNT, episode 38. We were live on Wednesday for Dynamite, the season premiere of Dynamite. Okada debuting. Next week going to be a big week with Mercedes debuting. Big business. And then Friday, we were live last night for the Friday Night SmackDown episode where we got the tag team match for WrestleMania made official for night one of WrestleMania 40. Go check all that stuff out and leave me a comment down below, like I said, and let me know what you think of all the top stories today on Off the Script. Until then, guys, enjoy your Saturday, and I will be back with more tomorrow right here on Off the Script.